Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli, and this is asnews.net, and we are podcasting to you remote out of Maui, straight out of the 808, yeah, and we are here at the Red Bull King of the Air, and we've got an amazing segment today. We've got the who's who of kiteboarding. We've got the final, day number 5. It was an incredible day of kiteboarding down at Hookipa. History was made, and actually history is going to be made on asnews.net because we have an incredible lineup. We have Joshua Kendrick giving you basically the update and the recap of the event, and then we actually go straight onto the beach, and we pulled some of these kids right out of the water, and we pulled Robby Naish straight into the AS News Metro, the Geo Metro, the Seafoam Green one that we've been telling you about. We had him right in the back seat of it, podcasting to you directly about what's really going on and what happened in that event. So this is history being made, folks. No one has ever done this. While all the big HD cams and all the networks were there and they're trying to make their videos, asnews.net, we had our laptop and we had our headphones, and we had a studio set up. Paul Lang, he flew over from San Diego, California. He's our sound engineer, and he was on site trying to make sure that everything went well. And guess what? We've got Ruben Lenten, Susi Mai, Robby Naish, Waiman, Jesse Richman, Aaron Hadlow, Adam Koch, all of them talking about the event, talking about, kiteboarding, the current state of it. You gotta listen to this, folks. This is history being made. This is magic on the airways, and we just feel really lucky that we could channel this and channel the positive energy that came out today. So, hey, want to drop another bomb? You guys, you know what? You can check out all the latest action sports news at asnews.net. Also, you gotta check out our latest invention. That's lostcherry.com. LOSTCHERRY.com. Lost Cherry is the flavor of the lost generation. If you like MySpace, you're going to love Lost Cherry. It's a social networking site. Andre Philippe's on there. You got Cameron Dietrich. More and more people are getting on there. It's a place where you can go. You can upload photos. If you like Hot or Not, you can judge photos like Hot or Not. You can comment to your friends. There's so much functionality on this site, folks. Check it out, lostcherry.com. There's also the Action Sports News Scraper with all the latest breaking action sports news. If you don't like one thing, I'm sure there's something else that you're going to like. Check it out, lostcherry.com. Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with asnews.net, and we are back in the Red Bull studio over here in Traverse Bay. We've got Josh Kendrick here. He's going to wrap it up for us and give us a little update on the final, the absolute final, the last of the King of the Airs to hit Maui. So why don't you give us a heads up?
Yeah, this was it. This was the final 7th and last year of Red Bull King of the Air. It went off in a grand finale fashion. I think everyone here in Maui and everyone around the world checking it out was very stoked and very impressed with the way it all happened. Today conditions were still epic. Surf dropped a little bit, probably by 4-5 foot range. Winds were a little bit lighter, but it was a really beautiful day, and we had some really great stacked heats, and had some history in the making, which was great. Susi Mai from the Dominican Republic won her 3rd Queen of the Air title, which is a total unprecedented event. Last year was unprecedented with 2, and this year she stepped it up and got 3. So that was an amazing feat. And the men's side of things, it was a pretty storybook type setting. It was Ruben Lenten from the Netherlands, total newcomer, young gun, 17 years old, versus Robby Naish, the wind god, wind master of Maui, been in it for 30 plus years. So old versus new, established versus making a name for themselves, and Ruben took it. It was impressive. I think the conditions were a little bit light for Robby. I think he would have liked a little bit stronger wind and heavier surf. I think he would have probably prospered a little bit more, but it was what it was, and it was exciting and great, and great action, great competition all day.
Yeah, today was pretty cool. I showed up right as the semifinals were kicking off. I was sitting at the top of the hill. I had Blue Waiman and Andre Philippe out at lanes, and it was Jesse Richman just tearing it up over there. Then you look over to the right, and you've got Leishai Miller and Ruben Lenten in their semifinal heat, and it's really hard to pay attention on one or the other because everything was just blowing up. But the coolest thing that I saw was the amount of people that came out today, Josh. Like, how many people would you say were there today?
Oh, I'd say at least over the course of the day, maybe about 1,000 plus people were down checking it out. A lot of like kiting fans and enthusiasts, and a lot of just kind of onlookers, people just checking it out, driving. It was a beautiful, amazing day in Maui. It's a Saturday. Everyone was out and about checking it out. Good vibe. We have like just a great DJ down there, Mateo, like spinning records and just keeping the crowd pumping and going. And yeah, no, it was good. I mean, nothing but good vibes, and it was a great way to end just a great era for King of the Air and for kiteboarding. We're happy to see it.
Well, today what we did was after the event, we happened to grab some of the athletes right off the beach. We pulled them into the Geo Metro ASnews.Seafoam Green mobile studio. And we've got some interviews from the best of the best. We've got Ruben Lenten, Susi Mai. We've got Robby Naish. We've got Aaron Hadlow, Jesse Richman, Blue Waiman. But they're all talking about the event, talking about how great it was. And we just want to thank you, Josh, for inviting us here and giving us the opportunity to be a part of this. And I know all the riders, they were just as pumped as they've ever been. So you and Amy, I know I've been leaving her out. Don't want to leave Amy out either because we know she's a little bit. So why don't you give your crew a little bit of props?
Yeah. No, thanks to everyone, to all the media that came out, to the production crews, the photographers, to Amy Cook, who's Adam Cook's wife, and she's a project manager on this, does an amazing job. Mike Waltz and all of his production company and volunteers and all the guys and girls that put that together. Everyone that gave their time and energy to this was just, they're the ones that made it all great, and the kiters themselves, the athletes. And Maui delivered great wins, great waves. So no, we're a little sad to see it go away, but really excited at the way it did, finish off, and really excited. We got some stuff up our sleeves as to what's next in the world of kiteboarding. So look out for that. So yeah, no, great end of the week and great end to the era of King of the Air. So
well, there you have it. History was made today. Definitely history was made. I know that this event will go down as the best event of the year, or actually, if not ever, in terms of like the way the riding level and the conditions were matched. And I really believe that you guys were blessed. Red Bull was blessed with, and then the competition was blessed with just superb conditions. And you'll be able to check out these photos and all the media. Why don't you tell them where they can check out these photographs?
Yeah, for the time being, we're gonna everything's gonna be updated on RedBullKingOfTheAir.com. There's daily updates and photos up there. In a little bit, we're just gonna compile our video footage, and that will be up there shortly. Eventually, there'll be a half-hour TV show, HD, on Rush TV, on Rush Network. You can check that out. We'll list all this information on KingOfTheAir.com. And then eventually, a crew that we have is working on kind of a documentary on Red Bull King of the Air and the sport of kiteboarding that's going to come out in December. And that should be pretty exciting to watch as well. So more to come on that. And the best kind of hub for all that would be Red Bull King of the Air. So just get your information there.
Absolutely, and we'll be direct linking on asnews.net. So if you can't remember Red Bull King of the Air, you can remember asnews.net or kvmag.com, and we'll take you straight to their site. And you guys gotta check the waves. You gotta check what went down because Robby Naish, Ruben Lenten, you got two legends out there, and hopefully we can just keep on seeing more and more events like this. So anyway, look forward to hearing some feedback on our blog to hear what you think of our Red Bull coverage and about the event and about the event photos. And thanks for tuning in.
When the truth is found to be.
Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli with ASnews.net, and I'm in the Green Seafoam Mobile Metro, ASnews.net wannabe news van, and I drug Adam Cook in here. And Adam, why don't you say hello to our listeners?
Hey, everybody, what's going on?
We are literally sitting in the Hookipa parking lot about 30 minutes after the awards were just given out for the 2005 Red Bull King of the Air and Queen of the Air. And why don't you give us your perspective on what went down, Adam?
I think this year was a good way to end it. I mean, first of all, we just had this massive, massive triple overhead swell the first day that definitely left people wide-eyed sitting here on the beach. I was even nervous sitting there going, oh my God, are we really competing in this stuff? I mean, it was pretty much unrideable on the biggest sets. It was closing out, a little bit of a west swell coming in here, choppy, confused, but there were definitely some winners in between. And it was just one of those days where you're nervous until you get wet. And once you're out there, the adrenaline kicks in, and you start getting focused and find a couple good waves to ride. And, I mean, it was the best day that I've ever had kiteboarding for sure. And then day 2, the swell was still there. It was probably double overhead instead of triple overhead, way more organized, way cleaner. And it was just, both days were just all-time, do not get any better Maui. And this year, it's the best way to put the cork in the bottle.
I agree. And actually, I got some of the press photos, and there was this photo of you, I think, from yesterday, just airdropping off of this, like, at least 8-foot section. What was going through your mind at that moment?
God, I hope I make this. Nothing like losing a whiteboard and a white sea of foam.
Well, and another thing, too, I've had a lot of the youngsters in here, getting them online. I had Susi Mai in here. I had Ruben Lenten, and Ruben Lenten definitely dropped your name, and he said that you're a great influence to him. And what do you think about this new breed of kiteboarders?
I think it's awesome. I mean, they're doing stuff that I'd have only dreamed of, in the past. And the fact that they're putting it together, and, I mean, the guy hasn't even peaked yet. I mean, this guy, he's on it. He lands everything. He mixes it up with every type of maneuver I've ever seen, bringing back the one-footers, and he just jumps huge. These guys are the future of kiteboarding for sure, and I'm so happy to have them on board and to help promote the sport. I mean, this sport, we don't even know what we're going to be doing next year, and that is awesome.
Hey, you're absolutely right. And I sat there in the final. I watched Robby and Ruben compete, and I mean, it was a tough one. Robby was doing really well, and I thought Robby might have edged him out. And I
thought so too, almost. It was a tough call,
I saw the new school handle pass, but I saw some of Robby's signature moves that he's been busting for years, and he was doing them as big as he could.
Yeah. I mean, it was a little of a tough call. Robby rode a couple good waves. Ruben had some insane technical big air maneuvers. But the one disadvantage Ruben had is he was stuck on the outside, so it was kind of hard to see what was going on necessarily, and Robby stayed on the inside when he did his moves. So it's, I thought they were going to give it to Ruben, but, I wouldn't have been so surprised, I think, if they gave it to Robby.
And either way, you know what? These two guys, they came in, they gave each other a good shake, and they just had big smiles on their face. And I think that's like the fun factor of this sport is definitely increasing every year that we're involved. And, I think that we're onto something new here. We've got this new crew. They're pushing and progressing. Now, let's talk about the girls. I mean, the girls really, they had to step it up this year, and they have stepped it up this year. And they had to they had to go after some challenging conditions. So talk about the final and what went down.
I mean, in the final there was some definite faces there that I've seen in the past, and I was surprised to see how far they had progressed. I mean, they've been in the sport for a while, and to see them all of a sudden ripping it up and starting to do some of the progressive moves that the men are doing, I mean, it's definitely the way forward. And the fact that the women are out there in this swell that is just huge was very impressive to me, and none of them held back. All of them were going for it, and, I mean, it's also a big congratulations, I think, for Susi for winning it for a third year in a row. I don't know anybody who's done that, so I think that's awesome. It's
awesome to see her. I met her years ago in Cabarete. She was, I think, 15, 16, watching you compete at a PKA event, and it's amazing. And I asked her, I said, did you ever think you'd come and do this? And, she's still a girl. She's still a little girl. I mean, she's an adult, but, I mean, it's fun to hear her and see her happy and progress in the sport. And I don't think she's truly peaked either.
No, I don't think so either. I think there's several people coming up, and there's nothing better than being on the upscale or the upswing of your career, basically, in this sport. And once you hit the peak, if you're still competitive at heart and you want to keep going, it can be a little depressing sometimes. But as long as you're in it for the same reason that you started the sport, because none of us, maybe some people do, but me personally, I didn't get in the sport thinking I'm going to be world champion, I'm going to beat everybody, and I want to compete. I just got in it because I thought it was a cool thing to do. Competition just all of a sudden popped up. So I think as long as you hold on to that, the sport will never die in you. And I mean, if you get sick of jumping, you can ride waves. If you get sick of waves, you can ride flat water. I mean, there's so many options out there that this sport is just going to keep going.
And to close things up here, is there anything you want to say? I mean, you've been a part of this event. This has had your name all over it for many years, and I mean, this has been your stomping ground. So why don't you? I mean, this is the last King of the Air. Why don't you say something that's just a little bit to reflect back and close this thing?
Well, this competition was the first thing that I really saw where there was a wide variety of different people doing the sport. And after seeing that on video, I was like so impressed. I mean, I was so stuck into surfing and so stuck into windsurfing that I didn't need another sport, especially in the same element. So that kind of let me know what was possible, that you could jump huge and it didn't take big waves. And so once I saw that, I really got into the sport and just started experimenting with it and putting everything else aside, saying, hey man, I really want to learn how to do what these guys are doing. And then next thing I knew, a year later, I had the opportunity to come and compete at this event. So it's been a big part of my life every year, and Red Bull became a sponsor of mine. And the coolest thing about being a part of the Red Bull team is it's so international. There's people all over the world that are sponsored by Red Bull, sponsored by different kite companies, so it kind of brings everybody more and more together. And the other cool thing that Red Bull's done is they haven't just said, okay, everybody fly there on your own dime, do your own thing. They've actually put these fly to contests all over. So maybe the guy who's ripping in Poland or the guy who's ripping in Russia, who doesn't have the money or the fundage or the sponsors to help get them out to this event, if they win that event and they're the best in that region, Red Bull says, hey man, I'm giving you the red carpet flight right out here. I'm going to give you a chef. I'm going to give you a sweet place to stay. I'm giving you a rental car. And they're basically set up, you know. And so the fact that Red Bull has reached out and got so many people involved in the sport in this manner, I mean, I think everybody owes them a big thank you. And, I mean, they really don't blast their name all over everything. They're not yelling Red Bull this, Red Bull that, or all these other sponsors all over the radio. So it's a really chill event. They set up the riders every night with these killer parties, set everybody up with food, drinks, everything. They really, you know, they set the precedence for an event. And a lot of the other events I've been to don't take it to this level and don't say, hey, athletes, you are the reason that we're doing this. And, I mean, it's an awesome, awesome sponsor for any event, I think.
I agree. Red Bull is a class act. Red Bull brought me here. They support a lot of the things that we do in kiteboarding, and it's going to be sad to not have this event, but I know Red Bull, I'm sure they've got something up their sleeve because they always do.
I've already talked to the guys up above, and they were already asking me what we should do next time, and I mentioned a couple wave ideas, so you never know what we're going to see in the future.
And Adam, you know, you liked Red Bull so much, you married a Red Bull girl. And you have a little Red Bull baby. Why don't you talk about that?
I wouldn't go that far. But I definitely met my wife through being sponsored by them, and
Well, hey Adam, thank you so much, because your words, you're definitely a veteran and a pioneer, and also you're still out there just like Robby, competing with the best of the best and making it through heats, which is, I can say that while everyone else kind of just goes off and does their things, the one thing I really appreciate about you is you support the sport of kiteboarding. You know, you're here. I think these kids, they look up to you. I know they do because they tell me they do. And I just want to say thank you for being a good role model to these kids. And we're going to bring you back in down the road. I want to do an in-depth interview with you on some of the old school times and living in your van type of stuff. And we'll talk about the roots. So
for sure.
Give some props to whoever you want to and sign us out of this madness.
I give props to Robby. I mean, to be able to... coming into this event, he's like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? Especially after seeing how Ruben and some of these other guys were riding. And, I mean, the fact that he hung on and just did his best, and I mean, look at how far it got him. So, I mean, he's definitely an inspiration to me. You know, the old man still has it.
Hey, you know what? I wish I could ride as good as that old man.
I know. I hear you, man. He beat his entire team. How about that, huh?
And he really did, folks. I mean, everybody always says, you know, they always claim that events are rigged and this and that. I was here. I will put my word on it. This event is as legit as it can be. The conditions were about as legit as it can be. The wind was as legit as it can be. And it was just a great way to close this thing. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to be bringing in some more people. And as I said, we are podcasting to you live out of the Hookipa parking lot I think we're about 45 minutes after the event. And we will talk to you soon.
You'll find our snack bar chock full of good things to eat and drink.
Hello, this is Riccitelli with ASNews.net, and we're podcasting to you live out the back of our Geo Metro. And we've got Susi Mai here, the new Queen of the Air for 2005. This is her third year she won this. And Susi, why don't you tell us what's on your mind?
I am super happy I won this event. We've had some really epic conditions out here in Hookipa where we can never ever kite because it's forbidden. So it's not just riding the place, but winning the competition here is really special for me.
Now, this has been probably the best conditions we've seen
since I started doing this contest 3 years ago. We've never had the conditions we have now.
And you're from the Dominican Republic. You come from some waves, and what did you think of the waves?
The waves today are actually just like back home, but the way they were 2 days ago and yesterday, I mean, we were seeing some like 20-foot faces, which was very, very big and very scary, and I'm very happy we didn't have to go out in those big, big, big waves, but nevertheless, yesterday we still had some decent-sized waves, and it was a good experience for me to go out and just ride them. It was super fun.
Well, and I don't think many of our listeners know, they may have seen photos of you, and I mean, you could be literally a supermodel, but this girl, she is
not
gorgeous, and she goes out there in some of the biggest waves of the year that most of the guys won't even go out in, and she charges, and I got to give you respect for that. And you know, who really motivates you?
I don't really know. There's so many people here. There's so many legends, especially at this event. For wave riding, I would definitely say, you know, Robby Naish is the man. I mean, he proved it to all of us that not just technical stuff is what's happening, but when it gets big and when the conditions are like they were, it's man against nature, and he was just killing it out there. So he's one of my biggest idols as far as just the big, big waves go. But then just everyone here has such positive energy, and they have such good spirits that it's just, I love to ride with all these guys, and I can't say there's one person that just motivates me. It's everyone together.
You know what the funniest thing is, Susi? I met you years ago.
Wearing a Speedo.
I was wearing a Speedo?
Yes. I remember that.
And, you were with your girlfriend, Cammy.
Yes.
And you had these big, big eyes, and you were looking at kiteboarding. Did you ever think that you would be here?
Never, ever. I was on the beach just like, wow, what is this? This is so cool. Of course, we were looking at the guys, too, because they're all really hot. They got all these, you know, nice-looking bodies. So that was one reason why we were there. But then we saw kiting, and we were like, whoa, you know, this is sick. And then I got really much into it, and I was stoked.
Well, there you have it. It wasn't about kiting. It was about boys.
No, I didn't say that.
Well, it's turned into a great career for you. And
yes.
You have a long career ahead of you. And
I sure hope so.
Awesome to see all these younger people in the show. Ruben Lenten, you want to say anything about him?
He is a very, very cool guy.
And I know you got to rush out to a heat, so I'm going to cut us off now, but thank you for doing this. Why don't you give a shout-out to whoever you want to give a shout-out, and we'll get you out there.
I want to say thank you to everyone who made this event happen, for sure, but especially to my mom, my dad, and my friend you mentioned, Cammy, because she was a big, big part of everything happening, and I'm super happy she's been supporting me and pushing me, and I miss her very much.
Well, hey, Susi, thank you. You're awesome, and go out there and kill it, all right?
No problem.
All right, have a
Goodbye.
All right, this is Riccitelli with ASNews.net, and we are podcasting live out of the Hookipa parking lot, and I just drug little Ruben Lenten, the winner, the new king of the air, into my mobile metro, the Seafoam Green, ASNews.net news van. So anyway, Ruben's here. He just got off the beach, and why don't you say hello to our listeners?
Hello, man. Thanks for inviting me here, man.
Oh, man, I'm just glad you came, and, you know, it was a great event. I don't think our listeners realize how epic the conditions were, and how is it for you to come over and compete in such incredible conditions?
Yeah, I always look forward to come to Maui, and yeah, it's such a kite paradise. So I came here in Hookipa, and the conditions looks like never before. Such a big waves, smooth wind, so we got everything, perfect conditions.
And this morning, actually, I got a press release from Brunati, and basically it was saying that you are the very first Dutch kiteboarder to ever beat Robby Naish at his hometown.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. And what do you want to tell the people back home?
I don't know, yeah. Robby Naish is such a legend. He has everything, and he's good in everything. So he has his own kite brand, Naish, and he windsurfs, wave surfs, and he charges big waves with kiteboarding as well. So, yeah, it's sick to ride it against such a legend and to beat him at his own spot.
I heard in Belgium they have underoos and diapers with Robby on them. Is that true?
Yeah. They gave us, we did a registration in Holland for the Red Bull qualifier, I think. And then we got underwear with Robby Naish on it, and it was sick. I put it on over my jeans and made fun of it. It was cool.
So that's awesome, man. I mean, you're 17 years old,
Yeah,
and where did you start kiting?
Yeah, like 4 years ago, I walked over the beach at my hometown, and I was like, whoa, this is sick. What are those guys doing? And they were kiteboarding on the ocean. So I told my dad about it the same evening, and he bought me a kite for my birthday, and I got started. But it took me so long to get on that board. And yeah, after a while, I started jumping and doing some tricks.
Well, you know, I have to say, I've been in the sport for a long time, man. Lou Waiman, Elliot LeBeau, Mauricio Abreu, those are my boys, and I learned about you through photos, and you're a great rider. You have style, and you do a lot of the tricks, but you do a lot of the most committed tricks that I've seen. Yesterday, I saw one of the press photos. You're dropping into one of those, like, 8-foot Hawaiian bombs, unhooked, fully stretched out. You're one of the very few that I see out there doing that. So who really inspires you?
Yeah, like, I never rode in such a big waves before, and Adam Koch, he has such smooth style in the waves and goes full speed. And Ben Wilson, he's good in the waves as well. He's on the slingshot team. And yeah, I just look up to all those guys who rip in the waves because I never really tried. I'm just freestyling and having fun with that. But I see it now, and Robby Naish also is so good in the waves. He just destroys every wave he sees.
And today out there, what was it like competing with him? I imagine there had to be some butterflies, or were you just out there having fun?
I was just out there and having fun and just realized, wow, this is such a good opportunity. It's sick.
Now, you went straight off the beach right before the final. You threw it down, and you slammed hard. And everybody was like, wow, look at Ruben. He's in all sorts. And, you know, you got your kite back up. You got your game face on, and you went out there and you did what you had to do. And, I mean, I don't think the world realizes the significance of this event. This event is the Super Bowl of kiting. I mean, the media is here. We've got every station from around the world. You've had how many cameras on you today?
Yeah, like plenty, too much.
Yeah, well, hey, I'm really proud of you here, and
Sick.
you know our magazine, the Kiteboarder magazine.
Yeah,
What do you
sure.
think of our magazine, man?
Yeah, for sure it's a cool mag because you can put everything in there and you find different things in there, waves and some cool jumps, nice pictures.
Now, you're not just saying that because we're sitting next to each other and I got you in my Geo Metro.
No, for sure, man.
Is there anybody that you want to, like, give a shout-out to and just say, hey, to my boys, to your parents, to whomever, do you want to give some shouts?
Yeah, all my roots back home, thank you, and thanks for supporting me on the internet and helping me out there. It gives me a good feeling.
Well, we're going to have you on here again. We'll do a more personal interview, but, hey, we just drugged the kid right off the beach into the car. His feet are still sandy, and he was like, what? And I said, hey, man, we're going to put you on asnews.net live. We're going to get this out tonight, and we're going to tell the world that, you know, Ruben Lenten is the king of the air.
Sick.
And straight up, man, you know, Robby, we're going to try and bring him in and get his perspective, but I know you poured a whole bottle of champagne on Robby's head, man.
Yeah, sounds good. That was nice.
That's great, man. Well, thanks for coming in, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Nice one. See you
All
later,
right,
man.
brother.
Ciao.
Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli, and we're podcasting to you live out of the Hookipa parking lot. We've got a very special guest here, the legend Robby Naish. He just competed in the final of the Red Bull King of the Air. And, Robby, why don't you give us a little bit of what was going on in your mind?
You know, honestly, being the last of, 7 Red Bull King of the Airs, this one was perfect, just to kind of tie up the whole thing and send it off, being, the typical Hookipa conditions that everybody kind of dreams about. 6 to 10 foot Hawaiian, solid trades. That first day was about as good as it gets, and pretty challenging for everybody, myself included.
I mean, the final was pretty intense. It was you and Ruben Lenten, the young up and coming.
Yeah.
And I could honestly say, me and Adam, we just got off the podcast, and we really thought you got it, man. It could have gone either way. And but the best thing about it was that you both came in, and it was all smiles. And
oh yeah.
To me, like, what do you think about this new generation and still competing against them and in a final?
I definitely was pretty surprised. The conditions for sure helped out. Having 20 experience and then getting solid swell to back me up, I think helps. Some of these guys were pretty uncomfortable dealing with that kind of surf, and I was just loving it, and that helped. If it was pure flat water technical tricks, I wouldn't have had a chance. So it was nice, to be able to have that kind of condition to help me out. But then to have made it through, yesterday into today, into for sure less challenging conditions where the technical guys were, shining pretty well. It was nice to make it that far. And obviously I don't have the up-to-date technical skills that a Ruben Lenten does. He's doing some amazing stuff, and I love watching these guys. Some of my team riders like Leishai Miller were out there just boosting the hugest airs too and doing all the tricks. And I'm still kind of polishing my old school stuff and having fun doing it. It was definitely, an honor to be somehow, wild-carded into the event and then to somehow do well at the same time. It was pretty nice.
I think you are an inspiration to all of us. I think all of us have watched your career, and we've taken some little piece of it and been inspired by it. And I know that everyone that came in here has talked very highly of you. And to have you in this event, I think it's a very significant thing for our sport and just for you in general as a waterman. I mean, because this is just one of the many things you do. For those of you who don't know, this is Robby Naish, Naish Kites. He's launched one of the premier kiteboarding companies in the world and has helped progress the technology of the sport. So, I don't want to really go into your age, but I mean, you inspire a lot of people, and you are a guy who's a stand-up guy. You don't talk smack. You go out there, you put it on the water, and how does that feel to be in that position, to have so many people look up to you?
I don't know. I mean, I'm honored in a sense, and at the same time, I try not to hang my hat on it because I'm still out there trying to, ride as hard as I can, whether it's competitively or just out for fun, which is what it is most of the time these days, other than specialty events like this. Just to try to continue to have the respect of the young riders, not to be old and washed up, and have the right attitude. Hopefully, be a good example for them, both on and off the water. Show them what's possible with hard work, dedication, and love for what you do. I'd like to see some of these guys continue for years and years and make killer careers out of it. It's a great sport, just like windsurfing. Potentially even more potential on a professional level because this sport is really global. And, I mean, you can see just from this event that the best guys in the world are coming from the far corners of the earth. It's not like a Hawaii, Australia, super regional type of thing. You can do this anywhere. So it's an honor to be a part of it, and I want to keep riding as long as I can, as long as my body holds out. And right now, so far, so good. I'm 42 and trying to act like a 12-year-old as often as possible. So.
Well, you ride better than most of us. So the one thing I want to reflect on is you were part of the very first event. You won the very first event, and you almost won this one. You got second, and I mean, Red Bull, they're great. They're great. They've been promoting this and pushing this, and what can you tell us about just the difference or the changes you've seen in the evolution over the years?
Well, watching from the very first event to this one, there's definitely been a progression in riding style and technical ability and equipment. We were boosting big back then, but we weren't doing a whole lot while we were up there. So in terms of on water, I think the biggest difference is just the technical ability of the guys. The most profound difference between the first year and now is the age of the riders. Honestly, I was probably close to average age at that first event, and clearly it's gotten a lot younger. I think the average age in this event was 18, something like that. And if you look at the top guys, it's even younger than that. And that's cool. It's important for the sport, to get younger and, have these guys coming in that really a lot of them, kiteboarding's their first sport. rather than bringing in, their windsurfing influence or their wakeboarding influence or whatever. These are kids that, learned to swim, got on a kiteboard, and started practicing, and it's these guys that are driving the future of the sport and doing some pretty rad stuff. I mean, you see the stuff that was going on the last 3 days, especially the first couple of days off those sizable waves, and this is right up there with the most rad extreme sports there are. There was some sick stuff going down, and that's really cool.
I was in the final, or during the final, I was sitting probably about 20 yards away from your wife, and your kite went down, and I looked at her, and she was chewing her nails. I grabbed a couple photos of her while she was doing that, and I know what goes through your mind when you drop your kite in a final like that.
Well, normally it would have freaked me out. Here, just because there's no pressure, I'm just having fun. Whether it was my first heat or my last heat, I was just trying to go down without embarrassing myself. And in that situation, there was just such funky wind, like I just dropped out of the sky, and I thought I was honestly going to sit there the whole rest of the heat because there was no wind at all to get it up. It was just a limp noodle. And then luckily a little gust helped me get it out of the water. But I thought that was it, the rest of the heat was going to be swimming. But it was all right. I figured I was going to, do what I could, and that was it.
The best wave I saw you get was after the final heat horn came back, that wave that you came flying down the face. You made a couple backside turns, some classic Robby Naish there. And, I think that, as I said, you inspire us all. And the one thing that I don't think our listeners realize is that you're a very approachable guy. You're very down to earth. Yeah, you've achieved what you've achieved, but Robby's the guy that just chills on his tailgate. You can come up and say, "What up, Robby?" and he'll smile at you, he'll shake your hand, and he'll have that conversation that in a lot of other sports you don't get that type of interaction. So, I want to thank you for taking a moment to come back in the back of my little Geo Metro here, and
right on.
We're gonna get this feed out. And is there anybody you want to give props to, man?
God, just everybody, anybody that's out there listening, checking it out. Grab a board and go ride. That's it. It's where it's at, whether you're in the city on a skateboard or in the mountains on a snowboard or riding a surfboard somewhere or landlocked with a lake, grab a kiteboarder or windsurfer, whatever. It's definitely the way to go. It keeps you young at heart, it keeps you young in spirit.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that you don't mention your surfing. And Sean Ordonez was telling me that you can throw tail like Kelly Slater. He says that that's your style, that you push that tail.
Yeah.
And so, that's the thing. This guy just doesn't windsurf. He windsurfs, he does it all, and he's good at all of it. So, yeah, man, thank you for coming in. And I want to get you back on here and really talk about the roots of the sport at some point. We'll do it remotely.
Right on.
But thank you very much for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Right on, Ryan. Thank you.
All right. Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli, and we are again here in the Hookipa parking lot, and I actually tracked down long-lost Lou Waiman. He was wandering around, and I just ran into him. He's an old friend of mine, and he's checking out the event. And why don't you say hello to our listeners, Lou?
Hey, what's up, guys? How's everything?
Yeah, so what'd you think today, man? What'd you think of everything that went down? You were kind of watching a little bit.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, man. I think the wind was a little gusty today, but definitely a lot of talent out there, so it's good to see.
Last couple days, we've seen some big waves. Tell us what you're here every day, so give our listeners kind of a feel for really what the conditions were like.
Yeah, I think yesterday and the day before, they were pretty much showed the ultimate conditions you could have for a contest. So, triple overhead waves and pretty good wind. So Red Bull was definitely blessed to have that. So that was cool.
Well, I have to say, I was sitting on the cliffs overlooking Hookipa today, and I looked over to the left, and I was looking at lanes, and we had Lee Shai and we had Aaron Hadlow, or was it Aaron Hadlow? I think it was Lee Shai and Ruben Lenten out in their semifinal heat, and then I had Andre Philippe and Lou Waiman and little Jesse Richman, and I swear I felt like I was watching a video. You were out there, and tell everyone what you were riding and what kind of equipment you were riding on today. What it was like.
I was just on a 5/8 surfboard and 7-meter kite with about 9-10 meter lines, and it was kind of offshore wind, so it was kind of hard to get in on the inside and ride waves, but it's fun, man. It's awesome to have the waves back, that's for sure.
And you ride strapless, right?
Yeah.
No more of those foot shackles, no more foot straps. It's all about riding strapless with a surfboard.
Yeah, I just like to ride waves and kind of keep it as close as I can to surfing. So yeah, that's kind of the direction I'm going right now. But I still have all my old equipment, so when the conditions are good for that, I do that as well. So.
Well, let's talk about the kids. We've got Ruben Lenten. I thought he was 15. He looks so darn young, but actually he's 17. Yeah. And he took out Robby Naish. It was a very close final. Why don't you give me your perspective on that? You got a master and you got a young guy and clashing in a final of one of the biggest events in the world.
Yeah, actually, I was down at Lanes when I never really met Ruben, and then saw this guy come off the beach and just chuck the sickest thing I ever saw. So definitely, sport's got a lot of potential, and it's good to see the young guys coming up and kind of putting some guys into retirement. So that's cool to see.
Yeah, we were on our way to the car, and Ruben had a chance to meet Lou, and it was really cool because I really think that Ruben has a lot of style. He reminds me a lot of Lou, the heart that Lou rides with, and so it was cool to see them two meet and shake hands and say, hey, what up? Aaron Hadlow's and actually Ruben Lenten are sitting in the minivan in front of us, just chilling out after the event, kind of taking in everything. But Lou here, he kind of has fallen off the radar for a while. He's doing his own thing. He's probably what I consider the ultimate soul rider. And I ran into him, or I actually tracked him down yesterday, and this morning I had a chance to listen to him talk or be interviewed by the production crew. We actually were doing our interviews kind of on the history of kiteboarding with a production crew at my place that over in Tavares Bay, and it was just amazing some of the stuff that he was talking about the history of the sport and where it's gone, and you're going to be able to check that interview out. They're making a DVD, and you definitely want to get it. There's a lot of soul in it. You've got so many soul people, but why don't you give us a little heads up on what does it feel like? I mean, you're the guy who doesn't care about cameras, you don't care about interviews, you don't care about any of that stuff. How does it feel that people track you down to interview you?
It's nice to be noticed. I mean, everyone likes a little bit of attention. I'm kind of a quiet person, so I don't go looking for all that. So, I'm just happy to be a part of the whole thing, and hopefully I can continue to do that. But I've just made some decisions in the past few years to try and stay in Maui and stay where I like it, and I'm doing everything I can right now to just try and make that work. So, who knows what the future will bring, but for right now I'm pretty content with just being here and enjoying what Maui has to offer, and just having fun, man, and whatever follows, that's all good with me. So, well,
we just want to say thanks for catching up with us here and giving our listeners a chance to hear what you have to say, and we'll be getting you back on again and again. You were featured in our second podcast, which is available at asnews.net for free. We're also available on iTunes, and we are literally sitting in the back of our Seafoam Green mobile metro. What do you think of this production studio?
Hey man, if it works, it's cool, man.
Well, you want to give any shouts to anybody?
Just want to say thanks to everybody, and stoked people are representing the sport real well, and it's really cool to see an international sport come out of nowhere. So, just everybody stay safe, and just want to say thanks to everybody who's helped me and who's going to help me, and keep the faith. So that's cool.
Right on, Lou. We'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Later.
Hello, this is Ryan Riccitelli, and we are podcasting live with ASNews.net out of the Hookipa parking lot in the back of the Seafoam Green mobile AS News Metro. That's right. What do you think of this car here, Jesse Richman?
Well, it's pretty cool, man. It really is cool.
And what did I have to do to get an honorary interview with the youngest, coolest kiteboarder in the world?
You had to do a lot, man.
Well, wait a minute. Youngest, coolest professional kiteboarder in the world.
Yes, that's correct. You had to do a lot, man. I mean, some of the things that I can say out loud, some of them I can't. But one of them was carrying my kite.
Yep, I had to play the kite caddy. Jesse made me carry his kite to his car. He made me hold his board. And, I just feel really honored to have you here because, here we are at the 2005 Red Bull King of the Air. The final ended about an hour and a half ago. I watched you come up. You were just killing it. You're 13 years old, aren't you?
Yep, I am.
13 years old, but how come you're 13 years old, but you act and you're as cool as some of these 18-year-olds? How did that happen?
I guess I'm just naturally cool.
Oh, man. So what did you think about having to compete against some of the people you had to compete against? And why don't you talk a little bit about that?
That was pretty cool, man. I just had to compete against them. Some of them I won, some of them I lost, and it's just an honor to compete with them.
Why don't you name some of them names?
I had a heat against Kevin Longier, and I had a heat against Patry McLaughlin, and Damien Gerard.
Who ended up taking you out?
Kevin Longier took me out the first round, and then Patry McLaughlin took me out the second round, and yeah.
But you've been here today. I was sitting on the cliff. I just had Lou Waiman in our little mobile metro studio, and I was on the cliff watching Lee Shai and Ruben Lenten battle it out in the semis. But then I had you and Andre Philippe and Lou Waiman and I don't know a couple other people over out at Lanes just killing it. I mean, how many hours did you think you put on the water today?
I put so much. I'm so tired right now. I probably was kiting for 3 hours today at Lanes, and it was awesome.
3 hours, folks. I'm telling you, I watched this kid smacking the lip out there with the world's best. Did you happen to catch the final?
I caught it from out on the water. It was pretty cool, man.
And what did you think? I mean, with Robby, Naish, Ruben Lenten, I mean, here we have the legend, and then we had the young up-and-coming. I mean, Ruben Lenten, I'm sure you got your eyes on him. I'm sure you want to take him out one of these days. But yeah, I know you guys, it's a fun, competitive drive that you have. But I mean, why don't you give me some perspective on that?
Just the way that these young kids are riding is amazing, and I've already been against Ruben Lenten in a heat in Canada, and that was just scary looking at what he was doing, and I did good, but I mean not nearly as good as he did, and it's just crazy.
So, you're gonna be interviewing with him for a while, and actually we've got Ruben Lenten giving us a brown eye through the window. Actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to see that. He's underage. And hear him? He's trying to break into our studio. Ruben, we've got Ruben Lenten.
What's up?
All right, come on in. Hey, Ruben, when you talk, I need you to be a little bit closer to this microphone.
All right, man, I'm in.
All right, we've got Ruben Lenten and Jesse Richman. Ruben Lenten has broken into the ASNews.net studio.
Yeah.
He is $5,000 richer from winning this event, and I've got probably two of the youngest up-and-coming kids in the sport hanging out in the Seafoam Green Mobile Metro. What do you think of this, guys?
Sick, dude. Yeah, I saw you guys sitting with little Jess here who was ripping, and I was like, I come over and check and talk to all the people.
What do you think about Jesse's riding?
Jesse's riding is so cool. He's such a small kid and young, and he's progressing every day when he's out there.
Well, that's awesome, dude. And you too. I just had Lou Waiman in here talking about you, and I know you met him for the first time. What'd you think of Lou?
Yeah, Lou, I didn't know what to expect from Lou,
Yeah.
Yeah, you've heard the sickest things about Lou, of course.
He basically, I know you'll listen to this on the podcast, but he said he was out in the water, and he looked over, and he saw, wait a minute, we've got Aaron Hadlow here. Wait a minute, let's get him in. Oh man, we've got too many people in the mobile metro. I don't know, man. It's me. I've got Jesse Richman, I've got Ruben Lenten, and I've got Aaron Hadlow in the back of the Seafoam Green Mobile Metro. Aaron, why don't you say hello to our listeners?
What's up, people?
Why don't you give some shouts out to your people back home?
Yeah, shouts out to all the people back home. Back in the UK, man.
So, what do you think about this whole madness that of the event and what went down in that final?
Dude, it was crazy. I mean, the whole weekend's been pretty sick, and those huge waves and just the wind blowing has been awesome. And yeah, but the final heat was pretty. I guess it was close, but I don't know. I wasn't actually there.
You weren't actually there. Where were you?
We were down in Kite Beach just having a free session.
Well, hey, you know what? I understand that. I would rather be having a free session myself, but someone has to be the ringleader here and get all you guys so that the world can hear you. Why don't you tell us about the last few days of, like what went down and your experience at the Red Bull King of the Air?
Well, yeah, I mean, from the first day it started, it was insane, and I was just checking the huge waves, and no competitions in that really, like any other places. So it's been cool, man. But in the first round, I was like lost my board before my heat. I was pretty unlucky and couldn't get back to it. So I lost the first round. I was out in the first round, and then I was confident I climbed the double a little bit and got up to Lishai, and he just went huge, and yeah, that's when I got knocked out.
That was probably the biggest jump I saw of the event, the Lishai jump. I mean, I don't know what he did. I don't know what kind of magic tricks he has up his sleeve or what kind of pills he took before his. I think he drank 8 Red Bulls. That's what he did.
It's possible.
You know, so you guys all ride together. You guys all travel the world together. I mean, who do you? Is Ruben your like sidekick?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're always going to every competition together pretty much and competing, and been in the finals together like a bunch this year, and it's been really cool fun.
Does it piss you off when he beats you?
Oh yeah, of course, but
because you know what I say?
You lose some.
Ruben took your lunch money.
For sure.
Liking that here.
Yeah, that's right. And you know what? Because we tell it how it is here, you guys. We aren't censoring this. These are the boys. This is the next generation of kiteboarding, folks. I took them straight off the beach. We're in Hookipa parking lot. We're in the back of the Mobile Metro, the green Seafoam Mobile Metro. And this car, I mean, actually, you know, Lenten broke his way in. It started off as just a nice little interview with little Jesse Richman, and then and then Hadlow jumped in. So hey guys, I just want to say thanks for making this sport what it is, progressing it. Everybody's so stoked on you guys. You guys are just have this breath of fresh air, or put this breath of fresh air into this sport, and you guys are motivating a lot of people. And I support you here, the Kiteboarder magazine. That's my magazine. We support you. Anytime you guys want to get online, you give me a call. You got the email, and you know. Tell your friends about this, because this last week I have had Pete Cabrina, Sean Ordonez, Lou Waiman, Robby Naish, Ruben Lenten, Aaron Hadlow. I mean the best of the best. They know who to talk to and how to get the information out. So hey guys, I want you guys can all say something, give your sponsors drop some bombs for your sponsors, drop some bombs to your parents because they're the ones who had you, and keep up the good work.
Nice one. Yeah, I'm back from Holland, and all the people down there, yeah, they're supporting me so good with all on the internet and nice reactions. That gives me power to write how I write. So, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, just I'd like to thank just all my sponsors and for getting me where I am, and all the tour sponsors, and doing this to making the events happen, and yeah, also to my parents. They've helped me out so much, and yeah, just cheers to all those guys.
Well, I'm sure FlexiFoil will be happy that I named them, that they are your sponsor, and I'm sure Slingshot would be happy that I named Ruben rides for Slingshot. Aaron rides for Flexi. I think you guys ride for a lot of people, but I definitely want to throw them out there. A lot of times the manufacturers get left out, and I know that it's not that you guys intentionally try to do that, but hey, you guys are living the dream. Hang on, let's get over here to Little Man, and why don't you give some props out to your sponsors?
I want to thank all of my sponsors like Cabrina and everyone, and my parents, and just this sport would never be where it is without the crossbow.
Oh, listen to him. He drops the crossbow. Oh. Yes, you know what? Actually, we're going to leave that one in. He's 13 years old and he knows how to work it. I love it, folks. So,
oh my God, that was bad. Jason.
That was bad. Hey, why don't you sign us out here, Ruben? Why don't you do the sign out of asnews.net?
All right, this was asnews.net, Kiteboarder Mag. Yeah, ripping on. Have fun and take care.